Hey, you guys, thanks for listening in on this episode of Tips with T. On today, I have Mr. Victor with us. Hey, Mr. Victor, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. See, how you doing today?
I'm doing awesome. So glad to have you on the show today. So tell us about yourself and what you do.
All right, my name is Victor Dedaj. I worked in the corporate world for a bunch of years, and then about 8 years ago, I decided to make a switch and become an entrepreneur. So, right now, what I'm doing is I'm a global internet entrepreneur. I'm a success coach, health and wellness coach, and a network marketer, and as well as an author.
Awesome, awesome. So tell us, how was your journey of becoming an entrepreneur?
It was it was a really interesting journey because I could tell you it was very different from what I expected when I first started. So I think going from the corporate world where you're an employee to the entrepreneurial world is totally different. Basically, I had to undergo a mindset shift because when you work at a regular job, you're used to having people telling you what to do. You have someone holding you accountable, which is your boss. When I switched, everything changed because I had no one telling me what to do, which is in one way good, but in another way is like it's very easy to get distracted. It's very easy to procrastinate, and there was no one to hold me accountable. So it took a while to learn these things, and basically, I went into something that was very new, and basically there were a lot of things I did not know what I was doing in the beginning. So I made a lot of mistakes. And that's when I realized the importance of getting myself a mentor. That really changed my whole career because a mentor saved me a lot of time, struggle, and frustration, and helped reduce the number of mistakes I was making. Telling me, you should do this, you should not do that. You might want to tweak this a little bit. A couple little changes here and there can make a big difference. And another thing I worked on early on in my journey was I did a lot of personal development and mindset work because I realized that you can know a lot of different things, but if you have a really bad negative mindset, it can definitely sabotage you from doing the things that you need to do to become successful. So early on, it was a lot of ups and downs, but then again, even now you'll have some ups and downs because that's just part of being an entrepreneur. But it's been a fun journey. I've had a lot of great things happen to me. I've met a lot of great people, had some really good success, and I just love doing what I'm doing. And I just love having the time freedom to go pretty much anywhere I want to meet up with people. Whereas when I was working at a desk, I was limited as to who I could see or where I could go. I always had to get permission to do the things I want to do. Now I ask no one for permission. The only person I ask is myself. So that's been my journey in a nutshell.
Awesome. Um, so tell us, like, what actually made you want to become a success coach? What's the coaching?
Well, after doing this for a few years, I realized that I had my struggles in the beginning. So I know having a coach made all the difference in the world to me. And I know that a big reason many people fail and don't succeed is because they don't have someone to properly guide. And I could definitely tell you in pretty much any field that you think of, someone has some sort of coach or trainer. You look at sports, the top athletes in the world, they have trainers, they have coaches because they can see things that the athlete themselves cannot see because they're too involved. So they get an outside view. They'll tell them, hey, you want to tweak this, you want to tweak that. So in pretty much everywhere that I've looked, the people who succeeded the most have had a coach, and it's made all the difference in their lives. And I know it made a huge difference in my life. And I wanted to be able to help other people because there are a lot of people who want to succeed, but they just don't know what to do. And they find themselves at crosses and they get very frustrated. So I want to be one of those people that can help guide them to the path to do the things necessary to become successful.
And I'm glad you said that. So, like, what are some things that we can start doing now to become more successful?
Well, the first thing I recommend is get yourself a mentor or coach, but maybe right now you may not be able to do so financially. So you may need to wait a year or two, and that's fine. So certain things I recommend. Number one is you need to take 100% responsibility for your life. If you start blaming everything around you, the people, the government, your friends, your family, the economy, and what it does is it makes you weaker. It disempowers you because you think outside forces are in control of everything that happens to you. Now, there's some things that happen to you that you don't have control of, but you have control over how you respond to certain things. So realize the part that you play in all the things that happen to you. You have a power in how you respond to it, and that will determine the final outcome. If you think outside forces are always in control, you will not take the actions necessary to become successful. You won't become solution oriented. So start taking responsibility. It's huge and very important. Number two, be clear as to what you want to do and why you want to do it. A lot of times people go ahead and try things, but they're vague as to what they want to do with their lives, what their goals are, the kind of money that they want, or what they want for their family, the kind of lifestyle that they have. Be clear as to all those things that are very important to you, because your subconscious mind, which controls 90 to 95% of the things that you do, needs clear instructions. If you give a vague instruction, it's going to give you vague results. So be clear as to what you want, why you want it, have clear, precise goals, and just work on it. Some of the other things I recommend is work on your personal development and your mindset, because once you have a strong, powerful mindset, you can overcome any challenge, hurdle, or obstacle. You're going to have a lot of struggles and obstacles. You cannot avoid them in this life. But if you really work on your mindset and your personal development, you can overcome them and you can accomplish so much more. Be persistent. Don't give up. A lot of times people give up right before they're about to hit that big success. So be persistent, never give up. Be consistent. Show up day in and day out. You can't get results if you only show up sometimes. Show up for 1 week and then take the next week or two off. You got to be consistent to get consistent results, because there's a compound effect that accumulates over time. So you may not see the results immediately, and this is why some people give up, because they don't realize that a lot of great things take time to happen, to mature. Like a baby takes 9 months to develop. If you plant any kind of fruits and vegetables, it's going to take 4, 5, 6 months before you can harvest it. So anything great takes time. So be patient, be consistent, and be focused. Focus on one task at a time. Try to avoid multitasking, because studies show people who multitask get a lot less done, because your mind cannot really do 2 or 3 or 4 tasks at a time. You can only focus on one task at a time. And when you're multitasking, what you're really doing is you're going back and forth between the tasks, and it tends to make you a lot less productive. So focus on one thing, one activity at a time. If you're an entrepreneur, focus on one business at a time. Don't do 3 or 4 businesses at a time, because you'll be successful in none of them. So be successful in one business. And then if you want, maybe down the road, after you had really good success, add that second one. And again, I'll mention again, get that mentor. So those are some of the things I recommend in the beginning. And be coachable and teachable. Try to learn from other people. Anything you've tried to do, other people have done already. So learn from what those people have done in your profession. And if you can reach out to them, reach out to them, ask them what they did, or maybe they wrote a book about their life, read their biography, and watch videos. There's a lot of great videos on YouTube, for example, and you can learn from those videos as well.
Awesome. So what are some of the services and stuff that you offer now?
All right. So, for example, people who want to become successful in any field that they want, to reach out to me. I'm a success coach. I will guide them as to what to do. I will hold them accountable. I will recommend things for them to do, and we'll work on it on a weekly basis. And then each week we go over the things, did they do what they were supposed to do? And then if not, I get them to make sure they keep doing it, because you have to hold people accountable. I will work with them on their mindset, their personal development, and I'll make recommendations as to what they will need to do over the course of time. So I work with them on a weekly basis, because it's very important. You can't just work with someone once or twice and that's it. So I will show them what they need to do, what they need to tweak. I recommend the things that they do, but I also ask them a lot of questions. Because I'll ask a lot of these questions that I brought up before. Why do they want to do it? Be precise. What do they want to do? Why is this so important to them? So we get to the nitty gritty. So really, what is really important in their lives? Why do they want to do these things? Where do they want to go? And what are their goals? And being clear and precise and getting down to what is really important to them changes everything for them. And I also help them to dream big, to imagine the kind of lifestyle that they want, because a lot of times we repress our needs and desires, what we truly want. So I get them in touch with that as well. And we work on those things and how to, get about getting them to those goals. And I also am a health and wellness coach as well. So for those that want to, have a healthier lifestyle, we work on that too. Well, what are some of the things that might be deficient in, maybe certain vitamins or nutrients? and other things I could recommend to them, maybe certain foods to avoid or certain foods I recommend. So I work with them with that as well. And I also, as I mentioned before, I'm a network marketer, so I do my own business. So if people want to work in that industry, it's an incredible industry. It's done over 200 billion last year. So they can work with me on that as well as a distributor. So those are some of the things I offer.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Victor, for being on the show, sharing with us tips on how to be more successful. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to share your social media handles so our listeners can know how to get in contact with you, and you can tell them if they would like or how to follow you.
Awesome, Frank. Thanks. It's great being on the show. I had a wonderful time, and thanks for having me on the show.
Awesome. So do you want to tell our listeners how they can get in contact with you if they would like, or?
Yeah, sure. So anyway, my name is Victor Dedaj. My last name is spelled Dedaj. So you can reach out to me on Facebook. You can also reach out to me on LinkedIn. Those are the two I am on most of the time. And you can also reach out to me on Instagram. Just look up my name, Victor Dedaj, and you can also reach out to me on my YouTube channel. So any of those handles, you can reach out to me and I will get back to you.
And if you want to get in contact with me, feel free to do so. My number is 910-317-0396. You can shoot me an email at contact@mjfinancial.biz. You can schedule a consultation on the website at www.mjfinancial.biz. You can find this episode on Anchor, you guys, and you can also find the playback to this video on the YouTube channel as well. Thank you once again, Mr. Victor, for being a guest on the show. I highly appreciate you today.
Thank you. It was a pleasure being on. Thanks again for having me. Have yourself a wonderful day.
You too. And all right, you guys, we will see you on the next episode of With Tea.